Alrighty, welcome to the No BS Baptiste guide. I did a Bronze GM with Baptiste not too long ago, and I never intended for it to be educational. However, people did find it helpful, and I'm not gonna lie, I find that hilarious. So I've just turned everyone into a DPS Baptiste, which is awesome. Please ruin everybody's lobbies. I beg you. Anyways, I'm for the people, so here's the guide. Let's just hop right in, no shenanigans. Let's get going. So, Baptiste, let's go over his weapon. Primary fire, 3-round burst, hit scan, and a healing projectile. If you hit directly on, you do more healing. However, don't be afraid to shoot the ground with your heals, as you can heal up multiple people at once with the radius, and also it's better to hit your shots than to go for a direct hit and miss, causing your teammates to die. So, like I said, don't be afraid to shoot the ground, but at the same time, when possible, definitely go for the direct hits. There are 2 rhythms you need to learn when it comes to firing this weapon. The first one is maximum damage, so if you hold down primary and secondary fire, it will automatically do this. So let me just show you what it does when you hold both primary and secondary fire. So as you can see, 2 bursts of primary fire followed by 1 lob of healing. This will allow you to just output a whole bunch of value for your team, as you're going to be doing a lot of damage, and you're going to be doing still a decent amount of heals. The second firing rhythm, however, this is maximum heals. So if you hold down heals, you can see this is the firing rate of the heals. But guess what? You can throw a burst of damage in between and add more value to your team. As you can see there, boom, you can fire in between your heals. That's going to give you a lot more value. So, other than that, let's talk about Regen Burst. Regen Burst, this is an awesome ability. Instant 100 health and then a passive few healing per second for a few seconds after the initial burst. Really will save your teammates from a lot of situations. Just be careful when you use this. For the most part, you want to use it when you see multiple teammates low. It has a 10-meter radius and you have to be in their line of sight. So let's say you're behind this wall. If I pressed LB right now, it would not do anything. It would not heal the teammates. So you got to be in their line of sight and within a 10-meter radius. What you can do is you can actually fire a healing shot while you press the Regen Burst ability. So you can get an instant 150 or 170 health. Boom, just like that. That is a great tip you need to know. You can instantly heal your teammates up. But you can also pop the ability while shooting your primary fire. So just a little thing to know, you know. You never know what situation you're in. Next, let's talk about Immort. Immort is just one of the best abilities in the game. It has been forever, honestly. Even after the nerf, it really didn't do anything, if I'm being quite honest. What this does is, if you throw your lamp, it will prevent your teammates and you from dropping below 10% health when standing within the lamp's radius. So, if I do that, as you can see, teammates' health, it dropped to 10%, but as they were taking damage, it did not drop below 10%. Guess what? You can heal during this duration. It will save your team. The main thing you want to be thinking about is, can you out-heal the damage that's being dealt to your teammates? Primarily your tank, because let's be real, you primarily want to heal your tank, because that's how Baptiste is played. But you just want to think about, is your teammate in danger? Can they be saved using other abilities, you know, like your Regen Burst? Because Immort, it's actually game-winning. It will win your team fights, or it will lose your team fights, depending on if you waste it or not. Also, don't be afraid to pop it on yourself, because if you're about to die, you know, you're not going to have Immort to pop, and you're missing out on heals and damage, so definitely don't be afraid to pop it on yourself. But for the most part, you want to be watching out for enemy abilities, thinking about whether or not they're going to pop any powerful ults, you know, like Sigma's Graphitic Flux, or maybe Zarya's Grav, you know. Just things of that nature to where you need to make sure you have Immort. So you got to think about it, but you'll definitely develop that game sense the more and more you use Baptiste and Immort. So don't be afraid. On top of that, he also has one of the best mobility abilities in the game, and that would be his boosters, you know. This dude can jump so unbelievably high. It's actually nuts. This enables you to get to literally any high ground in the game. I can't really think of any spot in the game that is blocked off for Baptiste because of high ground. Depending on how charged up it is, that will depend on how high you jump. So if you don't want to jump that high, you know, to avoid, you know, getting sniped or shot out of the air, but you still need to do it to jump a little bit, you can just charge it up a little bit. Also, it can be used to avoid Rhine shatter, so if you know Rhine's going to shatter, just make sure you're constantly charging up your boots and getting ready to jump, because that will enable you to escape shatter. That'll definitely help your team, because you can pop Immort when you start swinging, save your team. Absolutely just game-changing when you do that. So, the last part of his kit is his ult, Amplification Matrix. Doubles damage and healing put through it. Absolutely awesome ability. I think the number one issue I see with BAP players is they try to combo with teammates too much, when in reality, it is perfectly okay to use it on yourself, because it's your ult. Think about it that way, Now, don't get me wrong, when it's paired with other ults, it's just mind-blowing what it does, especially with like a attack visor from Soldier. However, like I said, don't be afraid to pop it on yourself, because it also doubles healing, like mentioned before. So, if you need to, you can pop it to save your teammates by blowing them up with a whole bunch of heals. Or if you want to go on a goofy, silly little flank and try and get a few picks, it's also very reasonable to do so, because, well, I mean, you can literally one-burst squishies. The last thing about BAP that I want to go over is his positioning, because this is the most important part. This is what's going to enable you to do everything super fluently. So for a general rule of thumb, you want to sit behind your team on high ground, because here's the thing. When you're like in the middle of your team, look at this. I have to look here to heal this dude, and I have to look here to heal this dude. Why not make your life easy by just sitting back here and being like, oh, there they are. Now I can heal them. Boom. Simple. Also, if you sit back, like in line of sight of the enemies, like you're back here, it makes your life super easy to output damage and heal your teammates simultaneously. So that's the biggest tip I can give you, is sitting behind your team, making sure you've got cover from your teammates, but you can also see the enemies, so you can output damage and healing super easily simultaneously, providing an extreme amount of value. If you go on high ground as well, it's hard for the enemies to dive you. However, do watch out. There are certain high ground spots I don't recommend, like on King's Row, because a sniper can easily pick you off. There are just way too many angles the sniper can come from that, can really catch you off guard and screw you over. But, like I said, as a general rule of thumb, on high ground, behind your teammates, it really just enables you to easily output heals and damage simultaneously. But also make sure you're not too far back, or else you will get dove, and if you're too far back, your teammates are not going to be able to help you. So, like previously mentioned about other abilities, it just takes time. You're going to have to play, you're going to have to get used to, oh, these are good positioning spots, oh, these aren't. But yeah, other than that, here's some codes. So, here's the one I use for aim training for Hitscan, and this is actually a really cool workshop for using his projectile, getting good at healing flying targets. But yeah, that's all I got for you, man. That's the whole guide. If you have any questions, please leave them down below. I'll gladly answer them. As always, I'm gonna go fuck myself. You guys enjoy. Peace.